Hello, friends. Today we're going to look at this website from usrme. I hope I've pronounced it correctly. I chose this website because it looks very neat and clean. And although I found out that it is being generated by Astro, uh, but still it is something that can be reviewed. The HTML code can be reviewed, and we can learn something from it as well. Um, and and the most compelling thing for me was how neat it is. Like, for example, if you go under this writing section here, you'll see that there are different blogs here in the writing section. And when you open one of them, it is to me it is a very neatly arranged site. It's minimal, it's simplistic, but it still is so good, right? There are no over the top colors or graphics or animations as such, but it's simple and it looks good. It is doing its job, right? Something like the Berkshire Hathaway website that we saw. So let's get into this and see what we can learn about its HTML and improve our knowledge of HTML as well. So it starts with this tag here, which is the doc type tag or instruction. It is, remember, this is not an HTML tag, so I just refrain from calling it a tag. I'll just call it an instruction. What this does is it tells the browser that uh, do not go into the quirk mode and use the standard mode, which means that this website is built on a modern HTML framework, that is HTML5. And what we mean by quirk mode is the older um, engines that the browser used to parse the HTML. And so what happens is that if it doesn't use that mode, a lot of the way the elements or the fonts or the CSS is rendered onto the page, it makes a difference to that. So we are saying is that use the standard mode. Okay. In short, it's just telling the browser that chill out. We are using the latest HTML, right? So that's about it, and it is an important tag as far as the displaying of your HTML goes. Now, then it is immediately followed by the HTML tag. Now, as you can see, the HTML tag has two other tags, the head and the body. So this is basically the outline of your HTML document, right? It encompasses all of your HTML here. So the HTML is the root. As you can see, it is the root tag, and it has an attribute which is language is equal to English. Now, this is a very important attribute, especially for screen readers. So whenever they encounter this particular attribute, they know that this website is in English. And what this does is improves the, to say, for example, the pronunciation of the words, right? Once you already tell it that this everything is in English, it deals with the website much better. For example, is a pronunciation, right, of the content on your website. Okay, moving on to the head section. So remember, one thing about the head section is whatever is in the head section is never displayed on the web page except what's in the title. Let's have a look at it. So some of these tags, for example, the doc type instruction or this meta car set is equal to UTF-8, normally are automatically added the first time you create this page by most of the IDEs like Visual Studio. As far as this tag is concerned, it's just telling the browser that even if we have certain special characters, for example, you have something in Japanese or Arabic displayed properly. For example, if you can see this header out here, the name itself has this two dots in here, right? It could have been possible that if this particular um, tag would have not been there, this might not have been displayed correctly, because this is not a normal English tag, and this is what this is for, right? It's saying that use UTF-8. It is followed by a very common tag which you'll see throughout. It is used pretty widely, or quite a lot, by a lot of the stuff that a lot of websites and what they put in the head tag. A lot of it is the link, because this attribute is relationship. In this case, it is an icon. It could also be a style sheet. So what we see here is the icon. As you can see, this icon, this circle out here, it's a favicon.svg. You're also telling its type. Sometimes you might think, why do we need to specify the type? But whenever you give this extra information here as to what type of icon it is, it's just better for the browser, right? It renders them, I think, with a better performance, because it already knows that you're loading an SVG plus XML and what to expect. So always good to give it good information. Most of the websites I've seen have always specified the type along with the favicon. The next tag is the viewport. Now this is another tag like the car set and this particular instruction here, talk type HTML, which would be auto inserted by your IDE. This is nothing but it's telling that even in the mobile view, as you can see here, display my display the content correctly, right? Uh, do make it responsive on a different types of devices, along with, right? And and they sometimes they also specify, most of the time seen, they also specify the scale, which is equal to 1, that is zoom at 100%, right? um, and then you can see this tag tells us that it is generated by Astro along with the version number. And then this is the third tag, the title tag, right? As I said, that that's the only thing that is actually visible, the title and the favicon, only two things that are visible in the in the tab for this page. Otherwise, the head is mostly used to describe and to set up relationship, to describe the website and to set up relationship with the different documents, um, for that particular website, right? As you can see that so far the tags you have seen is just mostly instructions and of what kind of character set you want to use, or in this case the viewport, or in this case how it has been generated. Then the next one is basically, it is like, as you know about Google Analytics, this is similar, like the code counter is something similar to that, and it's a script element, and it's telling it that you download this count.js script from this particular website, right? HTTPS, and they've used this particular attribute out here, data.code counter. So when this script is downloaded, it'll look for this particular attribute and do something with it, right? I mostly take the analytics and send it to this particular endpoint. That's what I've been able to figure out. So that's the script for you, right? So more information of where to find scripts is an example of what's in the head. Here you go, another link. You're using this for loading this particular style sheet, right? Which is um, it's, as you can see, this is not a fully qualified URL. As you can see, it doesn't have an HTTP protocol, and it's just a relative path here, right? Slash anything means a relative path, and so it's relative to your the Astro, I think, wherever it's been hosted. I guess it has this underscore Astro in it, maybe just a local server. But this is the name of the file. You see, the file name of the file is a bit cryptic, which means that it might also be generated by Astro. Don't worry about this. This is just something that I think my browser has added that, and it is not. Um, it's not something that's a part of this website. So that completes the head. Now let's move on to the body. The body is pretty simple. Starts has two tags here, as you can see. One is the header and one is the div. So as you can see, when I click on the div, it shows where the main content is. It's normally a good practice to have the main tag indicate the main the main content, because it's good for the screen readers. Okay. And then you have the head tag, which is a good thing. That's how your header should be. That's his name there, right? Comes with a span, and that I'm not sure a span is a good idea here. Normally, you would just use a div. In this case, a span is normally used, like for example, for highlighting something that's inline. Um, it's not normally used the way it has been used out here. It's mostly an inline element. Here it has been used like a block. It's not a block element because it's just one line. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just one line, but it has been used this way. You don't have more than one. You just have the header going on there. So yeah, it's fine, I guess. It's fine, because I was normally thinking you would use a div where you have multiple components inside it, because it's like a block element, as compared to an inline element, which span is. So let's go on, and you follow the span with an inside the span you have this anchor tag, and it just says that come back. This just a slash means come back to the root of this website, come back to the slash index.html of this website. Okay, so that's about it. Yeah, it's a good practice. Then we have a button here, right? This button is nothing but it takes you to the light and the dark themes, right? Okay, and then there's, it's not an image but it's an svg, and you can see the svg defined here. Okay, and you can also see it's been highlighted out there. Okay, then there's a script associated with, and it's in the span, so which means that whatever is in the span is actually using the script, right? That's why he's put it here. And the other reason is that it is after the button. The script is normally in the head, as I told you, that it is a place to house your scripts and things like that. But in this case, certain cases you cannot do that, because as you can see, I think what it's doing is it is toggling this from the light mode to the dark mode, and it is using this particular button id, the theme toggle. So you'll see that the theme toggle should be in the script somewhere here, right? Get element by id this. But say if this script was in the header, and then it would have called this particular line of code document.get element by id theme toggle, you'll not find it, because the DOM has not been constructed as yet, right? Because DOM is only constructed, or this element is only painted onto the screen when which element, the button, is only painted onto the screen when it goes through this code, right? And so what it does is, having the script here, is it allows this button to be painted on the screen along with the id, the DOM to be constructed, and then it calls it, right? Usually you'll have the scenario where you put the script initially in the head and doesn't work. Why? And you immediately know the reason, and then you just bring it down below the element you're trying to access. So this was about the header. A lot going about on in this header itself. Then let's look at the div, the individual divs here. So as you can see that it is nothing but just a set of ul and li. Ul means unordered list, right? So this doesn't have to be in any particular order, so you can use ul. If it is in an order, for example a recipe or something, it'll be an ol, or an ordered list. And then he's applied a class element that you can see some styling out here. I like it. And the li is nothing but is saying the blog post, right? The title is blog post. What's the title now? Like when you hover over it, the title will show up. That's what this title tag actually does. Like hovering over this shows up this title tag. And it is and where you can reference it, you can reference underscore blog. And the similar thing has been done with the rest of these elements. And that just completes the body. Doesn't have a footer. Well and good. One other thing is that if I had not mentioned that I think You should have had a main tag, and it is very good for the screen readers, as they can, when they come to the main content, or they can directly take the users to the main content in some instances, rather than going through all this. The use I don't have much experience with screen readers, but I would think that's how they operate, and that's what I have learned also, to have the main tag there after the header, and that would be considered a very good for accessibility, as we'll see now. So then I just went ahead and I was just looking at the different metrics here, right, of this particular page on the page speeds from Google. And you can see the performance is 78% rather, and then the other things, performance is how well your website loads onto the screen. They don't have big marks for that. Accessibility, as I was talking about, has is 97%. Best practices, I think it's more about security and things like that. This shows 100, but you'll see later that it's not that good actually, the security on the website. SEO is, your different tags, how you're using them, determine some of that SEO, right? And it's at 90%. We'll see why. I see the performance is it's taking uh, the first content panes, and see these metrics are good, right? But it's taking the, remember that when the DOM is there's only one thread, the HTML has only one thread, and if that thread is blocked, that's what's it's called, the total blocking time. When I mean that thread, it constructs the DOM and everything, right? It parses the HTML. Now, if that thread is blocked, it won't be able to parse the HTML, and you might as well see a white screen. I think it's 810 milliseconds, and then this will also be give you the reason. It's saying that some of your scripts that we saw take a long time to load, right? So normally, what you would do is you would put in something like a defer or an async tag there. Say that as you're painting the DOM, at the same time start downloading the script. So as not to block anything, right? Don't block the main thread, let it do what's doing, right? And so on. So it's got accessibility, it's 97, because it's saying that you have not mentioned this element, but I thought we just saw this element, right? So I don't know what it's talking about. Best practices, as I told you, it's talking about more of the security, SSL attacks. But this number is not, as you'll see, this number is not very reliable. Let's go to the SEO. It's saying 90%. And this is, remember, this is for the mobile view. The desktop view, again, it has like different metrics, right? Let's go back to the mobile view, and it says 90%. Does not have a meta description. So I think what they mean is, I've seen in many websites, they have a meta tag with the author and the description, which makes it good for SEO, right? Your search engines are looking for something like that. What the hell is this about? So it give it good rank. Okay, now let's look at the desktop. Does it change the numbers? Oh my god, performance is excellent on the desktop. That's why we're viewing it. Accessibility, best practices, and SEO. But that performance is only not good on the mobile devices, maybe because of the low memory footprint. Okay, now let's go to this other thing here, which is the HTML validator. It says that no errors, good, very, very good. So this is just validating the HTML and seeing that any tags are not closed, or some tags, depreciated tags, have been used, and it's going to give you a warning for that. But everything seems hunky dory, and respectfully so, because uh, it's a very simple website, as I had said early on. Then, when we look at, this is something called an HTTP Observatory Report from Mozilla, right? MDN. Mozilla, and you see that it's got a score of 0. The last one of the sites I saw, it had got a score of 30. This one has got a score of 0. And one of the reasons it's got a score of 0 is because it doesn't like it downloading the script from in the head. If you look this the script from the goat counter, if you're downloading this kind of script, you should sometimes what you do is you set up the headers, appropriate headers, and say that you tell the server in advance, that is your server, right, which is on which your browser is, like, sorry, you tell your browser in advance by providing certain headers, that This thing we are downloading is from a safe server, right, from a safe destination, uh, from a safe domain. And if you don't tell that, then it is considered a vulnerability, right? You have not already alerted the browser might just load any, because there are certain attacks called as attacks that can happen where people can inject bad stuff into your forms and things like that. And if it allows it to run, if it doesn't have that particular header to prevent it from running, it could do a lot of damage. Okay, so that's what it is about. So that's about it, folks. Let me know if I accidentally made any mistakes in my explanations or they were not correct. Please let me know and I can improve on those. And also how I can improve in these videos that I am making. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.